Welcome back to Solar Value 26, or in plain English language, the King of Clubs. It's our last card in the club suit, and it also marks halftime in our journey through the 52 playing cards. When we talk about kings, we talk about three words, main aspects. Number one, mastery. Number two, responsibility. And number three, abuse. So when we arrive at the level of the king, we have arrived at the level of absolute mastery of that particular element. Hearts love, clubs knowledge, diamonds values, and spades wisdom. That is for our human beings in theory, right? It's potential. Whether we make use of it is another question. So here comes in the second word, and that is responsibility. Because with each of those disciplines comes responsibility. Responsibility in love, responsibility in knowledge and communication, responsibility in values and money, and responsibility in wisdom, lifestyle, health, etc. If we go through those four kings. And that brings us to the third aspect, and that is abuse. And there is no small measure of that available here or present here in the King of Clubs either. So with all the kings, there's always an element of, am I abusing the power that I have? Or am I acting on it responsibly and really showing the level of mastery that comes with that position? The King of Clubs is the master of knowledge, the master of communication. And they take things seriously, like all kings do. And here we have a king that is in the natural spread, actually not in the natural spread, in the mundane spread, the double Uranus card. So it's on the Uranus line and on the Uranus column. So there is an element of rebel-rousing, of being different. And when it comes to the king, being different can work, but it also can't work. We always have options. We always have two sides. And because Uranus does things differently, Uranus rebel rouses. Uranus is known for breakups, for sudden changes. And Uranus is also known for a little bit of abuse. And when we sort of enter the level of the king, where there's already that element present in form of potential, stronger than with others, here Uranus doesn't exactly help. And for this only, I would like to refer to this lovely book called Love Cards by Robert Lee Camp. And he says here about the King of Clubs something very interesting. And for many King of Clubs, challenges in life will revolve around abuses in drugs, alcohol, or some other form of escapism. These people are often very emotionally sensitive and have strong ties to a childhood that had its share of challenges. In a quest to understand and resolve those inner conflicts, the King of Clubs can go through all sorts of chapters in life, some of which seem the opposite of their highest potential. But their makeup is such that they usually wake up in their 30s and move into the recognition of the power and responsibility that is their birthright. So here we go. King of Clubs. Mastery, power, responsibility, and the possible abuse. Especially if there's like substance abuse. And that is probably the most, or the king most prone to that abuse, because it's a mental king. Because here we're talking about thoughts, not about emotions, not about values, not about lifestyle, health, etc. Yes, there's a risk there with the other kings as well, but here with the King of Clubs, even more so. So let's have a look at the planetary journey of this King of Clubs through the planets from Mercury to Neptune. In Mercury, we find the Jack of Diamonds, and the Jack of Diamonds is the salesperson, because it brings to the table that youthful, innovative, offbeat quality that is aimed at improving things and changing things. Because now we are at court level. We've gone through the pips of the values from ace of diamonds to 10 of diamonds. Now we are in the court. And that means a higher level. And the jacks, undecided whether they go queen way or king way, usually are here to change and to improve that which has been manifested through the 10. So here we've got a king of clubs who's got a very strong mind and a very youthful mind and a little bit of an offbeat, not odd, but sort of different mind. And they're very personal, very likable. Jacks have a lot of humor. So very nice people, these king of clubs. But again, they come from a background where there were negative influences that have shaped them into who they are and that have maybe sort of guided them subconsciously into the realm of abuse, substance abuse. Alcoholism, could be drugs, could be anything. And the jack here in the Mercury position means I actually don't want to take responsibility for my thoughts initially. First 13 years, first and foremost, but then later in life, as Robert said, so they usually wake up and then they step into their power. And that's the Jack of Diamonds in Mercury. Sort of they can communicate well. They're very convincing because they're jacks. So they can make happen a lot for that king of clubs. When we come to Venus, we leave the Uranus line and we enter the Neptune line. And here we find the Four of Hearts. The Four of Hearts is a lovely card because it's the card of stability and satisfaction in matters emotional. So a king of clubs likes to have a nice, stable family home. But once again, that comes with responsibility. So they have to turn inwards first before they can have this and work on this, because fours are workers' cards. They need to work for that emotional balance, for that emotional stability. The Four of Hearts is not a card that is overly affectionate. It's a card that is like sort of a little bit subdued. It's more shown in acts of love rather than the outward demonstration of affection. If I refer to my notes quickly, so they say they may default to the familiar rather than the passionate. Venus here softens the intellect of the King of Clubs, anchoring it in real connection. It's about giving heart and mind equal say. And the Four of Hearts wants peace, but it also wants consistency. So that king is drawn to partners who feel like home, and in relationships, they're more drawn towards the familiar than the passionate. But it's a lovely card because it's stable, and that's what you want to have in a relationship, because a relationship is about relating and you want to have a certain amount of stability. Yes, you want to have novelty. Yes, you want things to change over time. But sort of as a starting point, that Four of Hearts is a lovely card to have in the Venus position. When we come to Mars, we find another four, and that is the Four of Diamonds. So here we have another workers card. They have to work for the money, work for the values, but they also have a very stable value system. Despite Mars's aggressive demeanor, but also it says that they are taking the initiative, making sure that financially they are stable and that they are well off. Once again, it's not for show, it's not for effect, but they keep working until they have a stable financial base, which is very important for them. They really do work for it. The notes say it's about stability through effort, a relentless push for financial grounding and personal integrity. This king can become territorial when challenged, but not out of fear, but from a need to protect what's been built. And that makes sense, because they build, and you don't build for nothing. You build because, and then you protect, because the protection and the building go hand in hand, because you want to protect what's being built, because otherwise what's the point of building it in the first place? Mars here makes them a worker and a fighter, though not always outwardly aggressive. It's about calm assertion. Think chess, not boxing. Because we are here in the realm of the mind, the mastery of the mind, and there we are in the realm of chess, thinking, acting, not subdued, but not outwardly aggressive, but you just do your thing quietly, without much fanfare, and you are in the background, just making sure that one brick is put on top of the other. You build, you build, you build. And ideally, referring back to the Four of Hearts and Venus, you do this in relationships as well. So it's like very reliable, very stable, very dependable, but not one that is like flash. Glitzy stuff. That's not the territory of the Four of Hearts. And in the realm of Mars, that is also not the territory of the Four of Diamonds. They work for it and they make sure, and they usually succeed because behind them, so to say, is the mastery of the mind. Very strong mind, very strong mental people, very good thinkers and constructors. That brings us to Jupiter, and here we find the Two of Spades. The Two of Spades is a partnership card. So the growth for the King of Clubs comes when they find someone that is at their level. That is a prerequisite and a must for kings, because they are kings, they are at the top, and they do not go well with people that are below them or that haven't reached that level of consciousness. So here the expansion for the King of Clubs comes when they meet an equal. And it's interesting later on when we come to the Pluto card, because there's their challenge, there's their transformation. And it's got nothing to do with the mind, nothing to do with communication, nothing mental, quite the opposite, in fact. So here, Jupiter expands what it touches, and the Two of Spades invites shared mission and deep cooperation. This king thrives when paired with another sharp mind, someone who respects their vision but offers something unique. Needs to be unique because that king is about constant evolution, it's about learning. They haven't reached the level, the top yet. There's no ceiling to the King of Clubs. They keep learning, they keep improving, they keep changing. Jupiter here teaches that generosity doesn't mean going it alone. True abundance is found in collaboration, not isolation. And once again, the Two of Spades, another even card, by the way, Four of Hearts, Four of Diamonds, Two of Spades. The Two of Spades is the friendship card. So once again, not one that is overly demonstrative, but one that is based and enjoys stable friendship type of relationships. And anyone who's a partner to the King of Clubs should know that although the King of Clubs with that Jack of Diamonds and Mercury, they've got a not a weird, but they've got a kinky streak to them because of that placement. And because there's the Jacks bring in that youthful energy that you can't really like pin down, because they're always up for a bit of surprise. And once again, surprises, King of Clubs is that double Uranus card, and in Uranus we find the surprises, we find the changes. So there's a good dose of that as well. When we come to Saturn, we find another card, and it's another even card, and it's a lovely card to have in Saturn because it is the Eight of Hearts. Saturn is the teacher. So here comes the lessons. Here come the lessons. And the lesson here is in emotional self-sufficiency, self-sustainability. The Eight is the charming card, is the playboy card or the playgirl card, the Eight of Hearts. But here under Saturn, it means first you have to find the power within yourself, develop it yourself. Don't expect it from others. That is your task. Find emotional stability, emotional maturity, emotional power within yourself, and then bring it to the others, bring it to the outside world, bring it to your partner, bring it to your kids, bring it to your friends, family associates, etc. That is for the Eight of Hearts. Emotional power becomes the test. The challenge is learning to hold steady when to hold steady and when to let go. There may be trials in intimacy or influence. This king might sometimes come across too strong or not strong enough. Saturn here tempers charisma with humility. And when mastered, this placement teaches the power of emotional responsibility. Emotional responsibility, the ability to respond. Once again, responsibility, core theme for the the King of Clubs in general. Right. When we come, or as we come to Uranus, we find another even card, and that's the Six of Clubs. And a little bit of that abuse may kick in here in the Uranus position for the card that is a double Uranus, because the Six of Clubs is a very strong card, because it has its Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn cards on the crown line. So here, it says innovation comes through responsibility in Uranus. It's the card of the messenger of truth. And this position, it sparks unconventional ways of teaching, leading, or broadcasting ideas. There's a futuristic streak, perhaps in tech media or healing, but it's always rooted in a deep inner knowing. That's 6 energy. And this king may surprise people with how traditional wisdom can come through such modern channels. Traditional wisdom, that's the 6, that's the karmic energy, that's the knowledge, that's the intuition once again for the 6 of Clubs, and the modern channels would come through Uranus. But once again, on the negative side, the 6 can be lazy, the 6 can get into a rut, and because it's a 6 of Clubs, it can get into a mental rut, that it thinks like, I'm the king, I know everything, I don't have to change. But far from that, because Uranus, which makes sure that sort of that king of that 6 of Clubs energy is used in a positive, in a constructive way. Because once again, 6s, if they stray off the path, then it's like instant payback. That's karma. That's 6. And that doesn't get better when we come to Neptune, because here we find the 6 of Spades, and the 6 of Spades is the missionary card. And Neptune is for healing, it's for dreams and visions and higher level of consciousness. And here Neptune tests the spiritual current, and it wants quiet endurance. Once again, 6 is not about flashy. 6 is like, doing it diligently and being enduring. It walks a path of destiny. It may not always know why it does what it does, but it must trust. Because Neptune is the realm of the unknown. It's the realm of the unseen. And in order to endure, in order to pursue things and bring things to a successful end, you have to trust. And this king learns to release control in those unseen realms, to trust that their discipline will bear fruit. Initially when you sort of venture off, you don't know where you're heading. You may have a faint idea, but you don't know what awaits you at the end of the journey. And that's where you need trust. You need faith that it's worth it and that the outcome will be positive and to your benefit. Neptune here brings the echo of karma, 6 of Spades, soft but inescapable. Wisdom comes not from striving, but from surrender. Let go. Understand that you are on a mission here. You're on a mission to expand. And later in life, those King of Clubs usually find something that is really dear to them and that is deeply connected to the unseen realm. So that could be a new philosophy, that could be some connection to some ancient tradition where they find additional wisdom and often salvation for their own life. Because if their life has been marred by abuse and escapism, that's when they find back and find their healing, their own inner personal healing in those disciplines. I mentioned Pluto, and in Pluto we find the Queen of Hearts. So a lifelong transformation, ego and death, here is about the exact opposite of the King of Clubs. It's the Queen of Hearts, because the Queen of Hearts is demonstrative. She enjoys things. And there's the passion. There is the motherly energy that may be a bit too far away for that King of Clubs, because it's the mastery of the mind. And when you master the mind, usually your emotions, your feelings are more tempered, more withdrawn, more passive. It's not like you're in with all your heart in terms of energy, in terms of overtly external display of that emotional, of that loving energy. So it's more on the reserved side. But the Queen of Hearts here says like, wow, sort of here I am. And this is the lifelong transformation for the King of Clubs, to not only master the heart, but also, as they say, become a guardian not only master the mind, but become a guardian of the heart. It's about nurturing others and learning to be nurtured. Open up. As a king, sometimes you tend to be closed up. So open up, let other people come close to you. And that's what this Queen of Hearts demands in a way from the King of Clubs. This king must embrace the emotional even when it feels foreign. The Queen of Hearts brings transformation that lies in love, compassion, and motherly energy. There's a deep rebirth possible here. And that's the one that shifts the identity from mind leader to heart guardian. So there we go. For the King of Clubs, life is a journey of mastering thought, but the planets show there's more. It's not just that. It's about work. It's about responsibility. It's about a diligent, consistent effort. And because of all those even cards on the Neptune line, the King of Clubs has to make sure that there's enough movement in there. In a way, the Jack of Diamonds in Mercury makes sure of that. But if not, then there's a constant reminder for the King of Clubs to keep evolving, keep changing, because as a king, you haven't hit the ceiling. There is no end to your evolution. There's no end to your learning. There's no end to improving communication, becoming softer, Queen of Hearts in Pluto, and becoming more motherly, more caring, more nurturing, Queen of Hearts in Pluto. And once again, that is the first card is a court card. The last card, the Pluto card, is a court card. In between, all even cards, making sure that things are stable. Yes, they have to be worked for. There's a strong karmic element in there because of the Six of Clubs and the Six of Spades. There's a lovely friendship element in there in Jupiter. So their expansion, their growth comes through partnerships, friendships, partnerships in the spiritual realm, because it's the Spades. And for their drive and determination, they have to work for that. Mars, Four of Diamonds, and they also have to work for their stability and satisfaction in the emotional realm, and that's the Four of Hearts in Venus. And that wraps off the first half and the club's suit. With the King of Clubs, I trust you enjoy this. If you do, you know what to do. As always, pass it on. I'm showing here the birthdays for the King of Clubs throughout the year. And yeah, I'll see you whenever I see you with a long format extended version of the diamond suit, starting off with the Ace of Diamonds. Until then, take care, enjoy the podcast format, enjoy the reels, share it throughout the world, because this is cosmic, galactic knowledge. This is sacred knowledge, and everybody should know this, because it helps everybody understand themselves better, understand other people better, and therefore become capable of creating harmony through understanding. And I think that's a lovely ending sentence for the King of Clubs. And as always, feel free to download the app. It's free for you to use. And if you want to have extra additional features unlocked, especially in the realm of relationships, then feel free subscribing. It's really a cup of coffee a month. It's nothing. And for those who want to know more, there's the premium version, the one-time payment, or the VIP version that opens the whole system up to them. And don't forget day cards, music, and in English and in German, all the cards in the planetary positions have individual songs. Very nice addition to the text information that is being presented to you. And that's it. Once again, peace and blessings, and see you soon. Bye-bye.